Hello. So before we begin, I'd like to ask the two people apparently watching right now whether I'm mono or stereo. I don't mean monotone. I mean because my voice might be monotone, but whether you can hear me in both ears or generally left and right. Because I think I fixed it. Hello there, quite unremarkable. How are you doing? I've got no idea what that emote you've got there is. It's probably someone very important from Twitch, isn't it? How do I sound? That's the main question we're trying to achieve at this point. Oh look, here I am. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Thank you for those of you who've turned up. It's very nice to see you here. This is not really well planned or anything like that. We're just going to have a look at Plantic Apocalypse. This is, so you'll see how big this is compared to my hand, because this isn't a real hand. This is just a lifelike giant foam hand that you might use at a sporting event. So this is a ginormous box. I'll hold it up actually. Okay, if I can lift it. Right. It's this big. There's so much stuff in here. Oh, can we do that? There we go. There you go. We'll obscure my head with this box. Absolutely ginormous. There we go. So we're going to have a look today at just all the bits in here, and then we've also got this, and we've got this, and just in case there wasn't quite enough stuff, we've got this. So that's 3 giant expansions for this giant game. It's a Sandy Petersen game. I think we all kind of know what we're getting into with. We all kind of know what we're getting into with a Sandy Petersen game. There's going to be a huge amount of huge plastics in there. They're all going to look cool. The monster design is going to be at very least interesting, at best horrifying. And it's going to be a like almost surprisingly light game for all the pieces that come with it. Although actually there aren't that many pieces in this big box. I have had a little peek already, and it's quite restrained actually. But once you add in the other expansions, as you might want to, you end up with a really interesting modular way of setting up your game. Right, okay, I think then what we're going to do is we're just going to dive straight in. We're going to open this box, we're going to have a look at what's inside, we're going to have a rummage round, and then we've got a separate camera set up so we can look at the minis individually as well. The only thing I might have to do very briefly is run and grab the rule book, because I've already read the rules, because it's an important part of the job. So I may just quickly do that now, and then we'll open the box. Okay. There you go. That's a rulebook. Just before we start, I'm going to quickly see if I can pop something out on Facebook, see if we can drum up a few more viewers to join us in chat. Let's see if I can do that very quickly. Planet Apocalypse. Or, as autocorrect, all my fingers told me, Plant Apocalypse. So obviously this is Plant Apocalypse. This is Sandy Petersen's new Euro game about environmentalism, but it's a set collecting game, and you're trying to score the most victory points. Okay, that's gone out, so hopefully we might get a couple more hangers on. So thank you very much for joining. We're going to be talking about Planet Apocalypse, a Sandy Petersen game. This is the rulebook. I've taken this out already because I need to rummage through it and discover how exactly it works, so that I say exactly how vaguely it works, so that I can then misremember it and tell you exactly what not to do. So look, I mean, it's exactly the kind of book you expect. Lots of lovely design, lots of rules, but it's all actually quite simple once you get the flow of it. And it's because it's deeply asymmetrical in terms of there's lots of different characters to play as, lots of different monsters to fight. Although the way you interact with them, generally hitting them, is pretty straightforward, and it's more about kind of your setup, to be honest. Okay, so let's have a look in here. For you, the apocalypse may be getting closer. There we go. All right. Put that away. There will not be enough space for me to put out everything that that we find in this box on this table. It's just not enough room. I won't be able to play this on this table, I don't think. I'm not even sure if I'll be able to stream it. So we'll see how we go. I'd love to stream it, but I might have to decamp to the dining room, which is, I know that's most people's setup. Okay, so we get this. This is the first thing you're faced with. Although I believe, actually, in truth, this was the first thing we're faced with, which is this. I believe Baphomet, like realm area. This might be the area that you do your hell time on, which isn't just what you call working late or anything like that. It is the area where you do sort of boss fights. It's kind of a separate instance in some way. It is hellish. You're quite right. And in fact, sorry, I should tell you, what's this game about? It's about hell. Hell happening right now. It's called Planet Apocalypse. And I'm getting messages, so I do apologise for the pings there. So yes, this lovely big thing, nice bit of cardboard. Yeah, that's what we expected. Okay, this is the usual playmat. This is the way that the game, the set of the various tracks of the game. So the Doom track, when you hit certain points, you'll change the Legion, and that changes the kind of effects that happen to your players, your characters as they go through. Also, obviously, lovely looking. I think you can play as this guy, but we'll have a look at him in a second. Okay, let's pop pop those out over there. This is the very interesting circular or semicircular boards. So, yeah, I mean, I'm already running out of space, but so there's two of these in here. They're double-sided. There's a couple of different versions. The first setup version of it will be something like an S shape. So maybe they'll go together like that, or the other way around, possibly. Whatever. That doesn't look right, but it's fine. Maybe it's this side. Yeah, something like that. You might end up. There you go. That might be a version of what happens there. Okay, so you get sort of S shape between what appears to be a pretty normal part of the world over here, some town, and this, which is the invasion, which looks not so cool. Or it does look cool, but not so good if you're not a demon or whatever. See, there's that. There's quite an inventive way to do it, because originally when I opened the box, I found I was quite confused by the circular board, because I thought, obviously, why not just do it on a flat board? But it makes sense when you find that you can create different patterns in it, and there's different modes for different setups. So, punch cards, nice looking ones. Yep. These are your sort of stun tokens, fire tokens. This is a thing called courage in the game, which is kind of currency for buying upgrades. It's your experience points, really. You get that by being brave and hitting things. Like in real life. That's not right. These are your ways of tracking which dice that your character's roll. Because the way the game works is it uses a kind of when you level up, you'll get better dice. So as you so originally you might start with like a D4, for example, and that will make it very difficult for you to kill harder demons, who will be spawning from the start pretty much, So once you start adding those other dice, and your chance of scoring higher on individual dice, because it's very rare for you to actually add dice together in this game. It just improves your chances. So that's a way of tracking what your character currently has without having to stick the dice on there and sort of keep hold of them. It allows sort of good dice circulation. More courage. These are your sort of evil tokens. These sort of explain the invasion as they're coming in. So these will move around that big circular map or that big river map that we had before, and will make it possible for you to these are the bits that when you're on the same area or same section of the board with you as them, your hero, the invasion will be rolled, and then you'll generate a certain number of beasties, which we are coming to. I promise we are coming to beasties soon, because this could be any game, couldn't it? At this point, these just tokens, right? Yeah. This here is a divine intervention thing. Let's just make the game easier. It gets you one free pass, right? Luck, toughness. This is your own defense stat. I'm not sure what this is. These look like little hearts. Oh, these are probably your health tokens, so your current health. On one of the other punch boards, there was a max health or health cap. And here we are. Here's the chap himself, Lord Baphomet, who appears to be some sort of wall goat thing. So the way this character works, and the way nearly all of this stuff works, is I might actually flip it onto the other camera so you can have a little look at that. There we go. Can you see that? Okay, not at all. That's quite bad. But you can read the menace. That's the main thing we're going to be talking about. So obviously, so the way this character works is he has 2 health bars, and attacking the wall, bring the wall down, which is much more difficult, will allow you to then once that has been broken down, that will reduce his his attack. So you sort of weaken in that way. But obviously design wise, looking pretty brilliant there. Just too many faces and not a head where you think there might need to be one. Not that walls have heads, They say that good walls or good fences make good neighbours. This doesn't seem like it's going to help. Okay, apologise for any drinking sounds you might be picking up. Okay, let's have a look here. Let me get rid of that. Okay, back in the box. So we've got some player mats here. Who have we got? We've got Terang, who is a lad. I believe he is a neurotic Indonesian transfer student, as we can see there. This is the way your player sort of levels up during the game. He starts off with two toughness, which means that he has to roll anyone attacking him. Anyone who rolls above a 2 will do damage. Do you know what I've just realised? I think I need to change the title of my stream, don't I? Just realised that we're not painting a Froghemoth anymore. We are looking at Planet Apocalypse. I do apologise. God, I'm terrible. I'm sort of critically fearful of misspelling anything like this, so I like to look at it. There we go. Great. Cool. Done. Something went wrong updating my stream info. That's not good. Okay, I think that's worked. Sorry about that, guys. Let's get back to it. So if you have any questions as we're going along, do just throw them out there. If I'm giving you too much information, for example, and you want to just see the plastic, that's cool. We'll get there. But the way these characters work is that they your toughness is what they need to roll to hit you, and if they hit you, they'll do A damage. Here's your starting health. Here's your dead health. Max health there, obviously. You get a starting power. In this case, it's you get 1 extra attack boost total when at least one other hero helps you, and that might mean another dice or upgrading your dice to a better dice. So it will go from D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, etc. Actually, I'm not sure if they are D10s in there, but we'll see that in a moment. Okay, these get unlocked as you unlock these, and these are going to be pulled from a set of cards that we take from the from a market later. Then we use courage to pay for them. So we've got Terang there. We've got Sindru Plutorius. Plutorus. It's a nurse with a trained pet fidget. Now, when we see the minis, we'll know what that trained pet is, but we'll find out in a minute. Okay, I think this is the chap we saw earlier on the back of the mats. This is John Dark, meddled in the occult, powerful yet vulnerable. So this is probably sort of a caster sort of character that when you sort of get leveled up, they're a bit sort of glass cannon-ish. Which sounds good. This is Professor Maxwell, unworldly science professor. Fair enough. We don't all get to travel. Okay, this is Hannah Hazard, which is the Israeli trained sniper, which has, I guess, political undertones that we won't be discussing. Then Naomi Jocelyn, scared by demons, but determined. Which, I mean, whom of us does that not describe? Okay, so they're the base characters you get in this box. I'm just going to set that up down there. Okay, this is the gift area. So lots of nice setup stuff. It's all quite good. A little reminder of the kind of friends we'll be making along the way. So we've got the lava, which are basics. They are just pretty gross, boring things, but they're easy to kill. But I guess they're a bit of a nuisance, and these characters like limbo minions, so they're like zero. Yeah, they're very low level creatures that we're looking at. The gorillas, which you can see here, is just a very normal kind of dog, I guess. The fiend, which is kind of a pretty basic goatee chap. Second circle. The way these are summoned, by the way, is you roll pairs. So you roll a big set of d6 of these custom dice, and when you roll pairs, they turn up, except for these guys who turn up one per pair rolled of any kind. Right. So these are chaff really. And then they've got a caca demon here, who probably has a good dentist, but seems to be kind of upside down. Okay. Got Doomgate here. Here's the two basic modes here. So Doomgate is the circular setup where it's described as it's an advanced setup basically, but it's described in the rules as the demons are doing some sort of dance, and we're not sure why, and they're moving in certain patterns, but we don't like it, so we're going to stop them. Which I think is good practice really, but in general, it was just a funny thing of it wasn't really explained in the lore as to what they were doing, and it doesn't really matter in truth. And here's the normal setup. This is what you normally be playing. A lot of people have talked about this as kind of a tower defense game, because you're always pushing back these waves of monsters, which we will get to. I promise you, we'll get to a monster shortly. Here's your fourth circle demons, the Catablats, something like that. Again, very normal dog. Or possibly cat actually on that one. They have these special powers, which is things like when they spawn, you gain pestilence markers, stuff like that. That will hurt you long term. It means you'll take a bit of damage as you go. And then again, pestilence is similar there. Health, very basic stuff. Here's the toughness required and the damage they're going to do. So 4d8s can be quite high. But not compared to the Hellhound, which is 4d10s, and also I believe. Oh yes, so the Hellhound depends on which legion. Its special powers depend on which legion is currently in action. And again, this is actually a dog. The other ones were jokes, but this is an actual dog. But yes. So anyway, pretty interesting monsters there. And now finally the plastic. So I'm just tidying up over here. Okay, so what's in the box? More plastic. And we have, I don't know if you can see, but there's a big red guy. He looks pretty cool. That's the Baphomet character. We have these little chaps here. I believe these are your limbo level monsters. I think these are great. I think these look fabulous. Let's turn on the light over here. Okay, can you see that chap? Hopefully that makes sense to you. There we go. I might just pause for a moment while I flick the light on generally, so we get a bit more light in it. There we go, that's a bit better. Fabulous. Okay, so these are your sort of limbo level creatures, I think. So got quite a few of them. Just there. I think these to me look like maybe the best fun to paint, because they're just weird. They've got horrible faces on them. Who doesn't like a bit of that? Can you see that? Okay. Would you like me to zoom in? So back to the. So maybe we'll go in ascending order. So I think maybe these are larvae, actually, or the level 1 demons. These guys. Oh, is that too bright now? Let's bring that down. So these hilariously might be too small to really see the detailing on. I can hold one up a bit closer to the overhead camera if you like. Let's just turn that off. Can you see that guy there? Looks pretty cool. So if I was going to describe him, I would say he is like a very confused kind of bug, I guess, with sort of legs and arms and far too many faces and stuff like that. Probably made up of other dead people or something like that. Ooh, let's grab those. Okay, let's have a look at what else we've got here. So I'm going to go in sort of ascending scale here, which is, so I'm going to get this guy out. Can you see him there? It looks quite cool, doesn't it? I think this is a level 2 chap, or level 3 chap. Not quite sure. Yeah. Okay. So you get 4 of these in the box. Yeah, this is quite an expensive game. I think it comes out at sort of 80 quid or something for the core box, and then you start adding these, I think, 40 quid packs on, 40 or 50 quid packs on, you know, so they're quite expensive things. But I mean, yeah, I think if you're interested in painting monsters and having just a really nice game that's actually quite simple to play, I think it's not a bad shout. Also, it's co-op, you know, it's very accessible, that kind of thing. So I think it's worth taking a look at. So let's see. Shall we just? I'm going to stick with this view, and I'm going to keep just adding monsters. So I think we've got the cacodemons next, and I think these are the 3rd level Planet Apocalypse monsters. I say 3rd level, 3rd tier, I guess, 3rd circle. I'm not sure if you can really get the full beauty of these things. They seem like a big, scary head on a sort of floaty, snaky body, and they're kind of upside down. And for some reason, the face being upside down might be the most disturbing part of it. Let's see if we can get a good look at that face there. There we go. Yeah, so these are some of the friends you might make on your way through. I think the cacodemons, they're one of the monsters that requires 2. They require a double +4 or double +5. So you have to roll to do damage to them at all, or to remove them at all. You have to roll 2 dice with +4 or +5 on them, or something like that. So they become quite challenging, not only for the number they require to remove them from the board, and they can spawn as easily almost as anything else. They need like just this, you need a number of dice to increase, so you need to work together in some cases to do this. I think. Right, you ready for those dogs? Here we go. How about this guy? So hopefully getting a sense of scale here, but things are just getting bigger and badder. This is the Hellhound. Okay, I'm just going to tidy this up slightly. Yeah, pretty detailed model. It's sort of a kind of, I would think of it as a Hell Greyhound, I guess. A kind of quite a wiry dog there. Who's a good boy, you might say, to it before it eats you. Kind of cool, right? And just, I mean, the size of it is, I don't know if you can see that next to me. It's like half a face size, which is obviously the metric we usually use for this sort of thing. The other one, slightly more interesting creature that I enjoy more, is the one I'm not very good at pronouncing, whose name I've forgotten. So let me just look that up while we have a gander at this absolute mess of a chicken carcass. Yes, this is the Catoblepas, I guess. Oh, this is one of those things I might dub myself over later. So this is just a weird, nasty monkey thing, I guess. It's kind of a monkey. It's got a monkey vibe to it, I guess, just because of the way these arms are sort of turned back. But you can see we're in full like nightmare minis here. So if that was something you were interested in your life, or even if it wasn't until just now, maybe it's the game to check out for you. Okay. Oh, whoops. I've lost a limbo. Okay, then let's take a little look at the dice now, and the cards. So, there we go. So we are going to open up some cards. I'm sorry for this sort of crinkling noise that you're getting. It is just the nature of opening board games that you get some crinkle. Okay, these are, I have got, let's see, six reminder cards, just player aids. Just lay those out here, mostly for Hell Time. And we've all experienced Hell Time. Can you see that? Okay. And also the team phase there. It's just or the order of play really. It's one of those games where it's got a massive rule book, right? But ultimately, once you learn it, you won't be returning to the rule book very often. Okay. Now we're going to have a look at some dice here. I'm going to put a dice tray there. And I'm just going to open these. I suppose I should show you backnet, really. Yes, these are nice looking dice. They've got nice little prints on them. I don't know if you can hear that. They sound good. Whoops. There we go. Not a bad roll, I think. So there are D12s that I've just rolled there. I don't know if you can see the detailing on them, but they look pretty good. Let's roll some D8s here. Also got the same sort of marbling effect to them. Here we go. Going to throw some D8s now. These are nice green looking ones. There we go. I apologise for the plastic noise. It's just unavoidable, really. Oh my word. Some D4s. And final bit of dice, well, nearly final bit of dice cutting. These are the player D6s, which are used for just as normal D6 dice. There we go. A lot of ones there. I'm not sure if you see how nice the colour is on them, just because of the way the light's bouncing off them. But you'll have to forgive me. Okay, and finally, this in a slightly less cringly packet. These are the despair dice. These are used for designing up or deciding what you're going to. Let's go. Pull those away. Okay, so we're going to roll this up. I'm going to say what we're going to get. So they're based on pairs. I'm not sure if you can see that there. So they're based on pairs. So in this situation, I believe we'd pair all these up, you know, like this and this and that sort of thing. And this looks like a lot of level 1, I believe, monsters turning up, and maybe 2. Yes, it looks like maybe 4 or 5. So yeah, 4 level 1 monsters, and then 2 level 2s, and also because of the number of pairs, which there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pairs, there'll be 6 larvae turning up as well, which is kind of exciting. So that, you know, the nice dice of the game. So let's flip back to, well, do you know what, we'll leave it on this view for a second, and I will just show you back in it. There he is. If I can get him in, that would be a bit better. There we go. So, yeah, he's a large goat wall man, or just large wall goat. I don't know if you've come across this breed before. I don't think you get cheese out of them. There he is from behind, not to objectify. Also, I'm gendering it, I have no idea. So, there we go. Look at that. I mean, in terms of if you wanted to paint walls and skulls at the same time, there's really, really no better way than this giant thing here. Yeah, as I described earlier as well, the game's predicated on having these boss monsters to kind of fight, and yeah. Oh, I did not show you the butt of the dog. If you don't mind, I will just do that, because it's kind of funny. That's the butt. Does that make you laugh? It makes me laugh. Okay. Right. Should I take a look at the heroes now? I've chucked some. Oh, where have you gone? Here they are. Here's some of the heroes and minis we'll be having a look at now. There we go. Now, I'm not going to remember all their names at all, or maybe I won't remember any of their names, but either way, you can see that quite lovely detailed things. And the aesthetic of this whole game is kind of along the lines of like slightly goofy comic book violence. You know, this is end of the world, but it's not like we've got a Superman to sort things out. So this isn't Batman as an answer to the gritty problems that we're now facing. This is a group of people who are allegedly linked by some special order who of the past, who are linked sort of either by right or by blood or some other pact they made, but they are far distant removed from the heroes required for this situation. So they're kind of trying their best, but they're not there. So it's not Batman, it's more like the boys. Kind of within the same world, but less well set up for it. Right, got some. These are the sort of patrol cars here. So the way these work, you can use these to take damage, or I would get them all out, but it's just going to cause a mess, I think. So, and there's various different versions of the sort of small little cigarette card-sized cards, and we're kind of looking at they can either be set up to ambush, so after demons appear, you can pick them up, or pick them off. Sorry, or you can lay them down and do that, or you can use them in combat to kind of take a hit for you. So that number in the top left is the amount of hits they can take for you per card. Although if you want to take one, you always have to remove, even though there's multiple. And these are all the gifts here. So these are all lined up. I'm not sure if I can get an angle on that. You can see it properly. I'll have a play with that. Anyway, yes. So that's more or less what we've got in the core box. I think looks quite good to me. I've seen some people online complaining that there's not enough stuff or not enough replayability. I've yet to review it, so I don't know yet. But to me, it looks quite good. I think you've got a good variety of setups here, and the powers that come out are going to be different every time. So let's turn this off here. So I think it's a fairly decent showing, actually. But what we'll do, if you're willing to hang around for a bit longer, is we'll have a look at the other expansions, which can make the game much more replayable. Right. So this is a bit of a reboxing as well as an unboxing, so I do apologise for that bit. There we go. Okay. Let's work out which one of these is the first one. This is the Dragon Pack. I think, is that the first one? Is the Dragon Pack the first one? No. Void Pack is the first one. So we're going to shove that out of the way. We're going to look at the Void Pack. Here we are. It's pretty much as heavy as the other ones. It's half the size of the core box. But I think there's a lot of stuff in it. So here we go. So straight in there, here's your new potential boss enemy. There's a nice rule variant towards the end, which of the book, which says you could randomize which boss it's going to be, and you don't know until you meet them. And I quite like that as an idea. So this is a Lady Stentho, I think. She has quite a lot of hit points. Her menace, which is their special power. She performs an immediate attack. Her minions do not attack with her, because when you meet the boss, you summon a load of more minions. She also attacks with the normal minions during the phase, so that's the same as Baphomet. And then she has some other skills like fossilization, which that's interesting. After her attack, Stentho's target gains 1 toughness for each of Stentho's attack dice that failed to inflict damage. This includes hits absorbed by troopers or cancelled by any other effect. So that's quite valuable to you, actually. You can gain toughness that way, making it harder to do damage as you go. She does roll 68s, which is quite chunky. On a map with more than one lord. Actually, are these the bosses, or are these the new 4th level demons? I think these are the new bosses, I believe. Here we go, here's another one. Identified as Angelico Drago is the Lord Taresk, something like that. So spined, so it does damage when you attack it. Quite interesting. So this one uses a launch site map. We've got more boards in here. More characters. Dorothy Hall, Farm Girl. Everyone loves her. Moose Kowalski, Brass Knuckles Brawler. Brilliant. That's probably the one I like the look of. Oh, here's some interesting looking chaps. We've got the Secutor. This is the 4th level demon, not the boss demon. Yes. So, that's interesting. When they spawn, one ambush troop in every area is killed, which is pretty interesting. So that's going to really hurt if that happens. So the way I've seen it played in sort of a little bit of solo that I've watched is that when the 4th level demons arrive, you want to make a random call as to which one's going to turn up at that time. I think that's quite a nice way to do it. This is the Magdalene. Magdalene? Yeah, maybe. Immediately add 6 larvae to Madeleine's area. If fewer than 6 are available, score 1 doom. So that's the thing of, if you run out of models, you score doom, which is the sort of track of failure for you. Here's the Mandrake. When Mandrake spawns, add 1 ambush trooper to each area with 1 to 3 troopers. Add 1 to the lowest cost trooper available to each area with no troopers. No matter how many invasion tokens is resolved, add no more than 1 doom for failing to have enough figures. Which is interesting. That seems like it's going to help you. Interesting. Okay, so here's another. Here again, you can see how this is going to work immediately. So this is going to. I'll just lay this on top to demonstrate it. There we go. So you will be running this around a site. I've not looked at all the scenarios, so this one. Oh, they're double-sided, so something else is going on there, isn't it? So again, it's all about like variety in your setup, even though the simplicity of the game itself is quite straightforward. Let's go all that. Looks good. I mean, they're very high quality boards as well. I don't know if it's worth mentioning that. Cool. And now we've got, these are very funny looking things. We'll do the heroes first, because they're smallest and therefore possibly the least interesting. Well, they're very nice. I don't know if I can see these. They're very nicely sculpted, and they are quite dramatic, I would say. This guy, he's your brawler. Looks like he's going to do some damage, I think. Excellent. Right. I'll just pop these in the background here. And we'll start off. I'm going to pop all of these out, all at once, and then switch to the other camera, because that may be a more dramatic reveal of everyone. Gosh. Oh, that's horrible. Oh, excellent. Right. I mean, I think monster design is really interesting in itself. This is also a paperweight's worth of plastic. These are all nice resin style models. I think they're resin anyway. They might just be hard plastic. Oops. Okay, let's see if this is going to work. If anyone has any questions, do feel free to throw them out. I am more than happy to try and answer them. Let's have some light. Okay. Cool. Aren't they grim? Look at this one. That one's the incredibly heavy one there. I'm not sure if that's focused properly, but still. This guy, very long arms, possibly the best hugger in town, I'd suggest. I believe that is the Secutor. So this long-armed horror monster here is a Secutor. Very nice sculpts. Sort of, I think there's a school of design of monsters, which is you could call like the Dark Souls school of design, and I think these probably have a little bit of that about it. This one here is the Mandrake. Now you can see that it looks like nearly normal there. I mean, obviously there's skulls everywhere. There's a person coming from under the skirt. Yeah, we can discuss that another time. But I think the bit that made me go ugh is this head on its back, which is kind of gross. Anyway, I'm looking forward to painting this one. Cool. So we want to have a bit of a 360 on this one as well. How's it looking there? Again, another butt, tongue, face thing going on there. Seems to be a theme. There is actually a section in the FAQ which is like, why do all the demons seem to have faces everywhere? And the answer was just, it's kind of like a stylistic choice. Okay. And this one, there we go. Got a very sort of rugby position there. Appears to be slightly heavier set than the other monsters, but yeah, this looks pretty good. I'm a big fan of this. And again, sorry, this seems to be a theme of the game. This is a game entirely about monster butts. Okay, let's have a look at these. Let's have a look at the bosses. There we go. Can you see that there? See, there is a lot of actual dogs in this. I would call this an actual dog. This one's the spiky dog that will hurt you if you attack it. Let's turn him around this way. Get a little look there. They're lovely detailed miniatures, really. There we go. Oh my god, they're stuck. Okay, this one. Probably the closest to the Petersen Games logo in there. Just another hugger, just another good hugger. This is Lady Shitho, who is a bit Medusa-y, I think, is the concept. Again, probably more faces back here. You can see the tail. Looking pretty fabulous. Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. More Legion cards in here, and more patrol units. Oh. And there's some more. There's the moon base setup here. I'm not going to go into that too much, but it seems cool, right? Let's pop these guys away. I think that looks pretty good. I think the whole focus of these expansions is to allow you just like a little bit more, kind of like flexibility in your setup in terms of what you want to look at or want to play against. And I think, for those who feel like once they beat a game they're never going to play it again, you would probably want to pick these things up. So that's the Void pack there. I should have done this off air. Lovely. Okay. Now, is the Dragon pack the second one, or is it the third one? Yes, this is the second expansion pack here. You can see the preview of what we're getting in there. The RRP of this is $75. So maybe they're going to end up sort of 50 quid per expansion, which again, I've not reviewed the game. I'm assuming it's as good as other Petersen games, where you kind of have a big silly time of monsters fighting each other and stuff like that. But assuming that's the case, I would look at these as a way to get some really interesting things to paint as well as everything else. Cool. So let's have a look at these. So Lady Stroma, which appears to be sort of like really big hands and a mouth kind of there. Kind of grim. And then this one is Lord Chthon, which is sort of, I guess, our Cthulhu for this game. Looks kind of cool. Let's have a look. Cool. Yeah. Again, as always, nice art. Right. More characters. So we've got Victor Steele here, inspiring but impulsive leader. And here's Bernice Couture, I guess. Terminally ill police officer headed for her last hurrah. I mean, maybe that's the one I want to play as, actually. I think that's more up my street. This is the Dragonback map. So this is I think this takes place on the literal back of the dragon, which is cool. We're going to see that in a second. This is Knuckleavy, which is another kind of dog. I'm going to go with. Here we go. Bone Wheel. We're in the right place now. This is the kind of stuff we're into. Hellish Bone Wheel there. The Sendiari, I guess, and the Elemental here. These are the 4th level demons that we're adding into it. Basically, spaceship teeth, as far as I can tell. There's obviously no good way to describe these things, and they're kind of designed to be indescribable in the way that a lot of like Cthulhu style stuff is. I don't know if you can see this here. Nice dragon. Oh my god, what am I looking at this side? I'm not sure I want to show you the other side. Okay, here's the other side, which I believe is inside the dragon, where you can see, I don't know if you can see there, or in fact I can show you here slightly better. Brain, stomach, guts, you know, I think we're getting the idea of what's going on there. I mean, whoops. A lot of these creatures seem to not really differentiate between head nor tail, so actually it's not too much of a problem. Right, let's have a look at the heroes first again. And we'll see. Do you want to have a look at them here? Maybe that's the better way to see them. Here we go. Yeah. And this is the policeman, I believe, looking quite ready for a bit of flamethrower action there. So it might be the case that we're setting things on fire there. It's interesting to have these different characters because you're able to, approach the game in different ways as you play through. And if you're playing with friends, or the way the solo mode works, which is you just control more minions if you want, heroes if you want, and so you can sort of tailor your game quite simply like that to something that kind of suits you. Okay, let's add some friends. Here, look, here's another dog. Look at this guy. Here we go. Quite unpleasant, actually. Kind of what we're hoping for, really. That's the Knuckleavy, which is sort of a kind of dragony, sort of horrible larvae creature, I guess. I guess it's made up similar to the other larvae of lots of other bits. Yeah, kind of cool. Okay, let's look at our... Oh yes, the teeth spaceship. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Right, okay. You ready? That's right. This guy coming towards you? Offering you a bit of affection? I think not. This bone wheel is very nice looking. Okay. Right, you can see there. Kind of incredible detail. Lots of disgusting bits. Kind of trapped inside there. Fleshy appendages, all that sort of stuff. Okay. Right. Would you like a Cthulhu? A Cthulhu with a skull on its butt. That's what I'm about to offer you. There we go. It's quite a nice Cthulhu, actually. A little bit squiddy around the face, but not overly squiddy. It's got the sort of rot aesthetic. It's the joy of wargaming. Hello, how are you doing? We're currently looking at Sandy Petersen's Planet Apocalypse. We're onto one of the expansion packs here, and we're just admiring the butts of many demons because they all have faces. Some of them stick their tongues out amusingly. I'm good, thank you for asking. Yes, I went for a very long run this morning. Caught the sun a bit, and then obviously went mad and started to stream. So that's been my day. Okay, are you ready for I'm going to say the hungriest hippo? That's what I'm going to say. The hungriest hippo. Here we go. Now, is there a theme tune to Hungry Hippos? If you can start singing it in the chat, that'd be lovely. Here we go. Look at that. That's a hungry hippo, right? Yeah. Pretty grim. A little bit lobstery on the back. You can see the extra fingers here as well, which is very funny with my finger pointing at them. Yes, the way that one works, the way that boss works, is there's no retreat allowed on in the battle, so you're kind of stuck until you've killed her. When Stroma attacks, she inflicts 1d6 damage to the hero in her mouth. This is not an attack, just roll the 1d6 and the result directly in the hero's health, ignoring toughness. Troopers can absorb. So, hold on. I think they're saying that this this is also kind of, in its own way, a play area. So this might be the situation. Maybe that's covered by the rules that I've not read yet, but it seems a bit mad. I love it. It's great. Cool. So you're going to be in a situation where Lady Stroma is eating you. Maybe that explains why there's the whole brain thing and other stuff. Cool. Right, let's get these bad boys back in here. No idea where anything goes because nothing looks in the least bit normal. There we go. You may have missed some of the most exciting pieces there by rocking up, but we're okay. There's always the VOD. Okay, let's go back to the box as I do some tidying up because that's what we all came here to see. Watch me carefully tidying things back to this box. It's literally a case of I've got no room in lockdown. I'm absolutely surrounded by games down here, but I feel I have to sort of climb over things because obviously everything's coming to my house rather than the beautifully furnished offices. Okay, there we go. That was Dragon Pack. This is the second expansion. I'm going to go open up the third expansion and then that'll be it for now, I think. Might come back later at some point. We might have a chat about some other bits. This one? Is this the one we haven't done? I think so. Okay. Pack of the Pit. This third expansion, and it looks, I think this is the one that's a kind of a follow-on mission from the main missions. So you'll be kind of looking to maybe explore other areas. It seems to suggest that here we go. Sorry, the demons have simultaneously taken over the U.S. government and also invaded St. Peter and the Vatican. Adds a new fourth circle demon, Lord, heroes, and even troopers. I'm quite excited to play this game because it's just very silly. There we go. Okay, so here's our first friend. Kind of double dog snake. This is Lord Humbaba. Lord Humbaba. What's the deal here? The attack targets everyone in Helltime. So Helltime's like I've said this earlier, but that's the instance kind of for the boss fights. And also pestilence, does extra pestilence damage. So that's interesting. Then we have Lord Orobas. Not quite as fancy as Lord Humbaba, but we'll deal with it. This appears to be a man on a chair on another man. I say man, monster. So sort of Cthulhu rider here. Royal immunity. A hero can spend a Lord's Shadow marker after Orobas rolls his attack. Each Lord's shadow marker spent increases the target's toughness by 3 against that attack only. Royal Retribution. A hero can spend a Lord's shadow marker after the attack. Each Lord's shadow marker spent adds 1d12 to that attack. Okay, so lots of different ways to hurt this boss. New heroes. Amelia Azevedo, I think I'm going to go with. Bold firefighter, an EMT. That's bold as in being quite brave, not being follicularly challenged. It looks strong. Well, looks quite weak actually. 1d8 for your main attack is sort of average, and then the toughness of 1 is very low. So we'll see how that one goes. Then this is Pernod Wallenstein. Wallenstein. His description is just awesome force. 3 toughness, 1d10. Sounds great. Seems like a good character to start with. Okay, so these are. I think it looks like these are going to be quite small, a lot smaller in terms of scope. The other setups have been these huge, sweeping and curving boards, and this appears to be. I'll have a look at that now. Actually, a series of tracks instead that maybe just intersect with one another. Let's have a look at this one. This is your White House down board. So if you want to simulate the excellent action films, is it White House Down? What's the other one? I can't remember. What is it? There was 2 very silly. The president, Washington gets blown up sort of films. I can't remember that. Here we go. That's maybe the other side. Oh no, that's the Vatican side. If you fancied that. Demons in the Vatican. Right, a couple more tracks here to have a look at. Well, maybe that's the White House then. Maybe the other one wasn't the White House. Hard to tell from above. Don't spend much time above Washington DC. Oh, and the Pentagon, obviously. Okay, so this is the War in America sort of segment. Okay, here's some fourth tier demons, or fourth circle demons. This guy, this is what happened to Animal after he finished being in the Muppets. There's this one, which is a kind of, I guess is what happens when you step on one of the aliens from Alien. And this guy is, this is actually equally a little bit like the other one. This is when, if you've seen The Fly, this is what happened to Porky Pig when he went through it. Okay, let's have a look at them. This is the Horterator, or the Horterator, maybe. Power, exhort. When the Exhorterator, so Autorate? I don't know. It's imply all other enemy groups, including that of the Lord, add 1 die to their normal type of attacks. For example, a Limbo group adds 1d6. Seems pretty strong, pretty scary. Okay, this is the Rapparee, I guess. This is the powers are when it spawns, takes every hero's courage plus all courage in the pool and place it on this card. So this just going to steal absolutely everything. The courage is your main currency in the game. So here we've got the Gadarene, which is when the Gadarene spawns, all heroes and ambush troopers are immediately moved 2 areas towards the Lord. That's interesting. Triggering invasion tokens if necessary, which will. So one of the mechanics of the game is when you run out of models, you push the Doom track up, which I think is kind of interesting. You never it's not like substitute it with something else to fight it. No, you're just pushing yourself towards the end of the world quicker. I think that's quite good to suddenly be forced to be dragged forward and trigger a load of new minis on the board. Okay, let's have a look at these guys. Well, should we have a look at this guy. He is an awesome force. Let's just see. There we go. Look at that. Straightforward. I think this guy might be a winner for me. I think this guy and the policeman with nothing less to lose going on one last hurrah. I think that's probably the most interesting character so far, especially compared to one of the other characters, which is the farm girl who everybody likes, which is a great characteristic to have as a person. But I'm not sure. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's more enigmatic in some way. But that is not this character. There we go. Looking pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to switch to the other camera. There we go. So let's bring Animal from the Muppets in. There he is. I can't remember Animal's catchphrase at all. So there we go. Nice bit of a flash drum there. That's what we all like to see. Okay, we'll try Porky Pig next, who seems to have, rather than baby back ribs, seems to have faces in his back, which is a theme of this game, which is just too many faces. When this goes up on YouTube, we'll probably have to call it the Many Faces of Planet Apocalypse. Yeah, nice pig. So I think these are all going to be like really funny to paint. You could do them very seriously, or you could do them with zero respect, and do this in a sort of Porky Pig colour, or even one of the other famous pigs that we have these days, who I completely forget, but I believe children love. Okay, we've got this is the one that steals all your courage. Look at that. Absolutely disgusting monster. Love it. There we go. That's great. Cool. Now let's have a last look at the remaining minis. So this is the Cthulhu-y one, Cthulhu Rider one, which has kind of got a sort of a throne and then a big monster that's riding on. Can you see that okay there? I think that's probably alright. Yep. And then this, oh my god, this is quite a lot of plastic here. Jesus. Right. Then we've got this guy, who might be one of the bigger models in the game. Probably not the hairiest, but one of the biggest. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Double-tailed. You've got the 6 legs there, exactly the number of legs you'd expect on this kind of dog. So, if we were doing this as crufts, this would be very well scored. So, there's more Legion cards. There's more region stuff. So, it's actually with France on there. I don't really understand that, but we'll work that one later. You've got some paramilitary guys to drop if you need to. And that's it. I think we're coming to a close there. So thank you very much for joining me today. I'm going to turn that off. We're going to switch to this scene where I just talk to you. So thank you for joining me today. It's been very kind for you to pop in and have a look at this stuff with me. We've not really done unboxing videos before on stream, so we're just going to get it go really. So let me know what you think of it. You're welcome to let us know on Twitter and similar platforms. We have a podcast at the moment, which is pretty exciting. You should go download that on whatever platform you like to hear me prattle on. Assuming you're here, you probably enjoy me prattling. So we've got some really good stuff on there. We've got a new one coming out next week as well, and the latest one we talk about the Dissident Whispers RPG bundle thingy, which was put together in like 10 days for Black Lives Matter bail funds. It's a good cause, and it's a good selection of RPG adventures as well. So I'm Chris Eggett. I'm the editor of Tabletop Gaming Magazine. Thank you for watching today, Do remember to go subscribe to the magazine if you don't, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you very much.